Hi, everyone, and welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Brady. Can you believe it? Can you
Hello,
believe it's the
hello.
end of October? Oh my gosh.
We're in November already. How
Next
did
week,
this happen?
I don't know. Don't blink. It keeps coming quick. So anyway,
Can't
well,
believe it.
I know I can't either. So
Wow.
welcome back, everyone, to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host Marie Mason and lovely and talented co-host Pliny Phoenix, all the way from Ireland. We're so happy that she's with
Hello,
us.
hello.
Hey, and our guest is Emma Shaw, waiting in the back. She's also known as the Chief Rebel, is a coach and membership leader from Cheshire, England, and she's also the owner
Cool.
of the Rebel Yell Ltd. I don't think that's related to the. I think we have a Rebel Yell roller coaster in one of our lovely little places that have that kind of stuff. And I cannot remember if it's which one it is off the top of my head, where it's located. I don't know which of those places they have it at, but it's one of those places where you go to roller coasters and those parks, those wonderful fun parks. Don't ask me
Oh,
which
pretty
one it's
cool.
in, but it is called. There is a roller coaster called the Rebel Yell. At least it was back in the 80s and 90s when I used to do roller coasters. I don't do them anymore. And I'll give you a hint. When I went on this one, it was called the Hurler. When I got off that ride, I realized why they call it a hurler, and I'll save you all the descriptions. But let's put it this way: I never went back on that ride again. So anyway, for
Well,
those
the
who
roller
love,
coasters,
I don't know,
right?
have you ever been on a roller coaster, Bliney?
Yeah, I love them.
Okay, now I'll be honest, Ferris wheels are more my thing, or merry-go-rounds.
It's
But the
like
others, like,
it's like the adrenaline I have when I go on stage performing. So before that, I'm all anxious and nervous. I'm freaking out, and then when I'm on the actually roller coaster, I'm having fun. I really enjoy it, and I think about why should I be like that nervous? It's actually fun. So it's the same exact thing of performing live.
yeah,
Same exact
feeling.
roller coaster of emotions going on. But then at the end, like I enjoy it. I really love it, and I wanted to do it again.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because this month, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're wrapping up October, and Halloween is around the corner in this weekend for the U.S. because that's when we go and trick or treating and dress up, and
See,
the
I'm
adults
already
actually get to
like
have fun.
in black,
Oh, I see.
starting
It's
with the colors, uh,
yeah,
Halloween colors, right?
yes, you are. Me,
And I
I'm
have
just
a black cat.
oh my gosh, impressive.
Yeah,
Um, I have
very
a
witty.
I have a part-time cat. He's my neighbor's cat, and he likes to hang out on our front porch all the time. And I kind of like
Okay.
asked him to babysit my son half the time when we go out. And he's such a sweetheart. And he's like a tabby cat. He's so friendly and sweet and stuff. So he's our part-time pet. And so but he's not black. He's like the tiger stripes and stuff. Super
Pretty
sweet
cool.
cat. I don't know if you've ever seen the mackerel tabby. They look like the black and brown and little white mixed
Yeah.
in. So sweet cat. And anyway, love that cat. So anyway, he comes and checks on us every morning, and occasionally we see little presents and gifts he leaves behind. And I keep trying to tell him we don't eat that kind of food, but but it was
Like a
kind enough to
trick or
think of it.
treat.
Yeah, he does. He
He's
has his own
already doing
version of
trick or
trick or treat.
treats.
Yeah, he has his own version of trick or treat, definitely. But anyway, okay, that wasn't even what I planned on
So
talking
talking
about
about
this week.
treats and not like about tricks, we have the tips of the week.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. I was going to ask you if you wanted to share them.
Absolutely. So today we are going to talk about a confident voice. And to have that, I have three secrets for you. I would have even 20. Okay. So if you want to know more, you have to contact me at info@bettervoicenow.com because I have time only for free. All right. So contact me if you want to have a confident voice and want to know more. But I give you three that are really, really important, and you cannot skip on this. You can skip on other stuff, not on these three. So, three secrets for a confident voice. One, posture. I cannot stress enough on this. Posture is so important. So, if you wanted to talk with confidence, how you show yourself, it's important. If you go around like this, like with your back at this, watching the floor, you don't look in the eyes anyone because you're shy, well, it's going to be a problem. You're not going to connect to anyone. You're going to reflect yourself as a shy person and not confident. You can fake it until you make it. Just put your shoulders on the back, watch in front of you, keep your head like this. You can put a lid down by watch in front of you, and don't look at the ceiling. There are no answers on the ceiling. I see this all the time. So here there are a lot of more than one tip here, but in general, look for your posture. It's so important. So keep your back straight and look in front of you. Number two secret to a confident voice is breath. Breathing is so important. Everybody skip on this, even professionals. And I can't stress enough on this as well, because it's foundation of your voice. It's like not knowing enough at all, like about chords when you play guitar. What are you doing, right? So voice is an instrument as guitars, as pianos, violin, or whatever. So treat it as an instrument. Work with the breathing technique. And if you want to know more, I mean, I'm a voice coach, but there are thousands of exercises on internet for free. Check them out, okay? And I have some for you as well. So contact me if you want to know more. But breathing, it's so important. So when you breathe in, the belly is going out. It's like a balloon. And when you breathe out, the belly is going in. If you're doing the opposite, it's wrong. So you need to work on that. And deciding where to breathe is really, really important. So work on your script beforehand. Work on that because it's really, really important. Don't underestimate the power of breathing. It gives your voice a good tone. It gives control. It gives a good, confident impression. And that's what you want to appear, right, in front of people. Number three. So we got number one, posture, so important. Number two, breathing technique. Number three is articulation. So it doesn't matter your accent. It could be any. You could be from anywhere in the world. If you want to talk with confidence and be understood and connect to the audience, there is no time for words said in the wrong way or cutting off the end of every word. So mind every word and don't speak fast, because even if you understand the accent of someone, you know, you might lose on something. You might lose the interest of who's in front of you. So talk always slowly, articulate every word, and they will understand you and they will love it, right? So have a confident voice. Use these three secrets. Let me know how it goes. Mary, I think I lost your audio. Okay, we lost Mary for a bit. Gremlins, audio gremlins around. Right? So work on these things for your voice and be a confident speaker, right? And these things work both for online and in person, right? So, Mary, uh, I don't hear you. Talk now? No, I don't hear you. No. So, while you're fixing this, I'm going to bring our guest on, right? So we want to welcome you again in the Marketing Mindset Master Radio Show with your host, no, here, Mary Mason, and your co-host, Amplini Phoenix. Today we have from Cheshire in England, we have a fantastic person. She's a chief rebel. She's a coach and membership leader of Cheshire in England, and she's the owner of Rebel Ltd. And her topic today is your soulful rebellion. This sounds pretty much amazing. Take it away, Emma Show. Let's see.
Hello.
There you are.
Yeah,
How are you, Emma?
I'm really
Thanks
well.
so much
Really
for
good to see it.
accepting our invite
Oh no,
to
thank you for
our
inviting me.
podcast. So, how are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm just hanging out here in the very normal British weather.
Oh, very good. Here's pretty much the same. There you are. Don't know Mary which weather she has, but we're pretty much like in fall season, almost Halloween, right? So,
Yeah.
um, I want to know like more about all this rebel thing.
Mm.
So, uh, I'm really curious to know how did you come up with the name for your company, first of all?
Okay, so Rebel Yell is it was born about a year ago. My company's existed for about 5 years, but actually I changed the name of it. And I my background is learning and development in corporate worlds, and I you had a fantastic career, but I also worked in so, some very toxic environments in the corporate world. And I went
Mm.
freelance about 5 years ago, working for myself, and then realized because I was still working with a lot of corporate clients that I was still in this situation where I couldn't be fully myself because I was only ever with the clients or the companies that I worked with. I only ever a small part of me was wanted. So about a year ago, I had a little bit of inspiration, sort of quite divine inspiration actually, and I started a group.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about that if you wish. But I
Oh,
started a
yeah.
Facebook group. Yeah. Well, I basically I sat in my living room one day, and I was just sort of milling some ideas around and trying to do a bit of work, and all of a sudden I got an instruction in my head, and I to this day I don't know. I've never had anything so clear. I actually got a sort of a voice that said start a group called Rebels and Rule Breakers, and I genuinely had no idea what that was about, but I just did it. I did what I was told, and I set up this group, and all of a sudden it just took off. And when we're almost at our 1 year anniversary, so that will be the 4th of November. And
Fantastic. Congratulations. How
thank
many
you.
members are in the group now?
Well, we've got 840 people in the free Facebook community, and it just seems to have captured people's imagination. And what I began to realize very quickly was that there is work to do here on redefining the word rebellion. So traditionally, we think of rebels as being fighters and people who are raging against the machine, who have this kind of energy to be quite anti-establishment. And I think there's a place for that
It's
in
kind of
some way.
negative as a
It can be, yeah,
general. Yeah, I don't
it
like
is.
it. I mean, I like it. I don't like the perception that is negative, but it's
Exactly.
not.
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
not.
It's sort of anti-establishment sort of idea, anarchic, that sort of thing.
Mm,
My version of rebellion is actually quite a loving thing. So it's about um, breaking away from the inner and outer rules that hold us back and keep us smaller and stifled and squashed. And some of those rules
yeah.
are beliefs we've imposed on ourselves that are unhelpful, and some of those rules are society's expectations. And my
Yes.
belief is that if we are able to be our full unapologetic selves, then we are happier, we have better employees, better relationships, we are more fulfilled, we're more likely to find our purpose, we're more likely to have our businesses thrive because they're authentic. And
Yeah.
that is my mission now, to help people rebel.
That sounds
So,
amazing. Yeah, because everybody say, "Oh, I worked in the corporate industry
mhm.
for years, and I didn't like it. Too much pressure. Everybody wanted from you something that is not human."
Yeah.
Ask that stuff to a robot if you want a person like working for infinite hours and no emotion involved. Even speaking was something, oh, you need to be perfect. I'm a human. I'm allowed to freak out before a speech, and that's
Exactly.
normal. That's what I teach too.
That's
Accept
it.
your emotions.
Yeah.
So, and every time I said, "Oh, we could do this differently," the answer was always, "Has been always done this way."
Yeah.
So this kind of wall to try even something different. I didn't want to change everything, but we can at least try.
I
How
totally
to
agree.
approach that?
It's
How to approach like someone that tells you that you cannot do things differently, so differently from the system, differently for what is done before. How do you reply to that?
it's a really good question, that, and I think it depends on the circumstance. I think sometimes you have to choose your battles, because I was constantly
Oh, yeah.
battling, you know, and I
I know
thought,
I'm one that doesn't choose that much. I'm always like, no, 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 fighting
same
all the
here.
time.
Same here. I was constantly, I was exhausted because I had to, one of my biggest triggers is if things are unfair or unethical or unjust. And in corporate world, or in
Yeah.
what I call the corporate sludge, because it's this toxic, sticky thing that invades your system. Um, in that environment, it's very unusual to find an organization where there isn't that toxic behavior, and you don't have to you either have to choose to keep fighting, or you resign yourself to it. And what I found was, I was so exhausted from constantly fighting that I would end up backing down and becoming a lesser version of myself, and then I resented myself for it. So I think, first of all, you have to choose the battles, and then the second thing I would say is,
Okay.
just ask the question, why does it have to be that way, and be prepared to kind of openly challenge with a question, rather than trying to force your opinion on someone.
Oh, that's interesting. Actually, it's really a constructive way of doing that instead of fighting, because we know it's wrong. A toxic environment, it's wrong. But instead of putting a wall there and trying to break it, you're just challenging them to give you a reason for that. And I think they don't
Exactly.
even know, right? They don't even know
Yeah,
the reason. They just always done the things that way.
absolutely.
Interesting. Thank you. That's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you
And
for
choose your battle. So this is a thing too, a huge
asking. Yeah,
one.
that's life, though, isn't
So
it? You have to choose your battles in life. You know,
yeah, exactly. Which one are you choosing now at the moment?
it's that. Yeah, it's an interesting one. So
What's
I
your,
think,
what's your battle now?
I suppose that's been quite an interesting exploration for me in itself, to not feel like I'm actually battling at all. So I have chosen to. So inevitably, when a Facebook group gets fairly large, you end up having to then deal with behaviour, with a minority of members who do silly things like selling things when they shouldn't do, or raging against the machine and getting political, which is not the ethos of what we do, or being abusive or trying to undermine people, or whatever it is. So what I learned very quickly was that if I react emotionally and I try to fight it, that energy intensifies, and it actually feeds the drama. If I
Yeah.
react in a loving way, and I put firm boundaries in place to say this is unacceptable, but I do that, communicate that in a loving, sort of open, non-emotional way, then one of two things happens. Either they they get repelled by that energy because they're at a different frequency, almost because they're operating at a fear frequency, if that makes sense, or an anger
Okay. Yeah.
frequency. So if you apply love to that situation, they either go away and take their fight elsewhere, or they actually come closer to you and go, oh, okay,
Mm.
I see where you're coming from. how can I help your cause, sort of thing. So what I've noticed is,
Interesting.
if I fight this, this rebellion cause that I've got, it doesn't do what it needs to do, because actually it feeds into the old paradigm. If I role model and I communicate with people and I allow people to be who they are, because that's part of this rebellion as well, this kind of loving acceptance of who people are, even if it's not your cup of tea, if you apply love to that situation, you don't have to fight. And that then
That's
affects
yeah.
much bigger change much more effectively.
That's such a, that's really nice. So you're not really like putting oil on fire, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that I think that that's really, really a good suggestion. To do this, I think is authenticity important to also like when you're choosing your battles, you need to let know people about it, right? To
Yeah.
see if they wanted to join in and
Mhm.
work with you in the group in the battle. Uh, as can you suggest something how to be authentic in your message to achieve that?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest pieces of work I do with people, particularly on a one-to-one basis. So I coach people one-to-one, and I also have a membership, like a coaching membership, where I coach people in a group perspective. And one of the biggest, most transformational pieces of work that I do with people is helping them to establish their own personal core values. But it's not just establishing what those core values are, it's actually putting them into the DNA and the fabric of your life. But it's also establishing what are so if you know what your highest values are, so mine, for example, connection, freedom, joy, that kind of thing, growth. If you know then what your lowest values are as well, what that allows you to do is to stay away from the stuff that doesn't feel good or authentic to you, and get closer to the stuff that is you and is very authentic to you. And
Hmm.
one of the things I do, if I'm creating content, for example, from a marketing perspective or social media perspective, I just write it in my own tone of voice. I maybe do a little bit of editing afterwards, but I don't do it in a voice almost that's not me. I write things as I speak. And what I've noticed about that is that really connects with people quite deeply, because they know that what they see of me on video or in the group or face to face, they're getting exactly the same thing when I create written content. And, if you know what your values are, you know who you are, everything you create, then everything you do and the messaging you put out there should feel very much like it's heart led, because it's values driven. But that can be
Wow.
quite a piece of work to do. It's some digging deep work, that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've noticed even working with my clients that if I don't make the right questions, they will never go deep and ask themselves.
Yeah.
And when they ask, oh, they still done it. Oh, I never heard of it. Like I never had that question before. Yeah, answer.
Yeah.
I think going deep, it's really a thing.
Yeah.
And I find it really interesting that your marketing is actually like very instinctive.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's something we don't see. I see like a script everywhere. I see like a preparing yourself for a writing. There is a scheme to follow. So I find it really interesting that you actually use your intuition.
I do. And, I'm by no means a marketing guru at all. But I think one of the things that there's lots of great tools out there where you can buy formatted content, you can buy templates for things or whatever. I can't imagine finding any of that would work for me, because it's not me. I am me. I'm very unique, and I'm not afraid to be me. I have been afraid to be me in the past, but I've learned that
Mm,
that just doesn't work.
I see.
So
I found
yeah,
this really, really interesting and connected to your rebellion group and battles that you do because we've been told all the time there is a way to do this.
Yeah.
And it seems not, there are no rule of thumbs for anything in this world,
Yeah.
but
That's the thing.
apparently we see a lot of people selling an option for this thing, option 2 for this thing, option 3 for this thing. And we think that we need to do the things for ourselves and our business in that certain way. And we go crazy trying to find ways to do it. And then it doesn't work because we are not following our own instinct.
Absolutely.
So your way to do marketing is interesting. I don't know if it's the one. Mary
And
probably
it
works
makes, and that's the
her
thing, it
way
may
because
not
Mary
have been.
prepares everything.
Yeah,
But this shows that there are at least two ways to do it: scripts on one side and schemes, and you that you work with intuition. So what we suggest is actually really find the best for yourself. There is not only one option, and it applies to what you're saying because your rebellion group is fantastic, and your battles too, because there is not only one way to do things,
that's
and
right.
we can actually do it differently what is done before or from the system. I
Absolutely
love
that.
it.
I agree.
I love
You
it.
can break whatever
So
rules you like to make it right.
yeah, exactly.
You can't
Just
hear me yet,
try
Lorraine.
things. Exactly. Try things and see how it goes. Um,
Absolutely.
you said that you work one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
but also about membership. Can you
Yeah.
tell me how it works, that membership group of yours?
Yeah. So I one of the reasons I started it was because I wanted to create something that was um sort of scalable partly, but mainly because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to serve more people. So if I'm coaching people one to one, there's a very limited capacity that I have to do that because I'm essentially selling my time. Whereas if I create a membership, I'm able to serve lots of people with the
More
same
people.
amount of time. So what they get in their membership, and that we operate on a platform called Mighty Networks, which means it's away from Facebook, which a lot of people really like now. And it has its own app, which is very, very easy to use. And as a learning creator, it means it has the tools and structure for me to create really great stuff. So every month they get
Okay.
a masterclass from a guest expert. So there's somebody different, there's different wisdom in the group than other than me every month. And they will get 2 community coaching calls every month. So we get together and we can share each other's wisdom to work through whatever we need to work through. And then every single month they get a coaching program essentially that is focuses on a particular aspect of being your full unapologetic self. So for example, October is learning to love you, and November then will be learning not how to reduce people please. So there's a lot of stuff around people
Mm.
pleasing in rebellion, or sort of
That's an interesting topic.
yeah.
People pleasing. Oh my gosh.
It's huge, huge.
That's huge. That's huge. And that's probably even the reason why there is so much. Um, how many people react to a system just to pleasing and say, yes, let's do this, even if they
Yeah,
don't believe it should be done.
yeah.
Um, what do you think it can be done to avoid people pleasing?
It's a really, really interesting one. And when I've done kind of research on this, it's been one of the biggest reasons why people don't live as their full unapologetic selves.
Yeah, they don't speak up for themselves.
Yeah, that's right. And it involves quite a lot of digging underneath to figure out where that comes from, and it pretty much 100% of the time, spoiler alert, it comes from your childhood, from when you were a toddler, and so on. But there are lots of techniques that we can do to kind of get through that. But one of the things to I would say to start with is to try and say no to things that don't feel good. So this comes back to your values again. And so, for example, even simple things like you're invited out to a social gathering of some kind, and you think, I really don't want to go, but I just feel like I can't say no because I don't want people to think bad of me or think I'm ungrateful or whatever it is. So we say yes, and then we go to this party or whatever it is, and we don't enjoy it, and we're not surrounded by people that make us feel good or fan our flames. They're not our, the people we want to be spending time with, and then we just feel guilty for that, and it's just a cycle of that. So one of the things to do is to learn how to say no in a way that is, constructive, polite, shows gratitude, but also is quite brave and assertive. So to say to somebody, thank you very much for the invite, that's really kind of you, I'm unable to attend on this occasion, but please don't let that stop, please don't let that stop you asking me again, kind of thing. So that actually is a format that a friend of mine uses very, very successfully.
That's a great message.
Yeah.
I think I finally got sound.
Mary's back.
Sorry, it took me 30 minutes to figure it out, but we are going to have some training on this platform for our audience, Pliny. We really need to tell people how to do this. So anyway, that's another show.
Yeah, that was a really good suggestion, because saying no is difficult for a lot of people, and they end up doing something they don't want to do, saying something they don't want to say, and attending things they don't want to go to.
And also disappointing people. A lot of it comes from your biggest fear is you don't want to disappoint people, and at the same time you've got to protect your time, your energy, and what you want to focus on. So and
there is also another thing.
If you
there is also another thing. You're being called selfish if you say no. How do you address that?
So this is a thing that is beautiful about the learning of saying no to things that you should say no to, but also saying yes to the things that you should say yes to, but you're not doing because you're fearful. If you say no to things that aren't right for your energy, what that means is, as Marie's saying, you preserve your energy to channel into the right places, and everybody deserves that from you, and you deserve that from you. And if you don't do that, then you're diluting your energy and nobody gets a good service from you. And it's the same with business. We should be brave enough to say no to working with people who don't align with our values, or who intuitively we don't feel good about. Now, that's not always easy when you've got to pay the bills, but sometimes that's really important. And there's a limit. A friend of mine uses the term bills and thrills money. I also add kills money onto that. So thrills money is the stuff you really want to be doing. It's your zone of genius. It's where you have fun and you really enjoy, doing that work. Bills is the stuff you kind of have to do to sort of get by till you get a chance to do more of the thrills work. But then there's kills work, and that is the stuff you absolutely know in your heart you should be going nowhere near, because it does not feel good.
That's pretty impressive.
So we are choosing actually emotions.
Yes. Yeah. I go very much by intuition and instinct. I know, some people have more of their sort of head in it, but I trust my intuition very strongly these days, because if I don't, it goes wrong.
Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have been on the show.
Exactly. There you go.
you and I connected on the call, because I always interview my speakers first. So and Pliny and I connected, and she was a guest on the show at least twice, if not 3 times, before I asked her to be a co-host. And grateful she did. And oh my gosh, thanks for taking over while I was having sound gremlins. I cannot believe that happened during the live show. Yeah, exactly. That's why you have a co-host, because you just never know when something weird's gonna happen.
Each of this plan B. That's really good.
Oh, God must have said you need to be silent or something. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just going to put it out there to the universe there. But anyway, I'm just teasing. But long story short, oh my gosh, so many great tips so far. And I'm sort of a little lost about where he is. But have we even talked about, I think there's a couple of them. So did you share about any of your core values? And maybe how to set the tone.
Actually, we didn't. We
Okay, so
didn't.
I was going to ask you because we were talking about core values and then how to align
Yeah.
them with what you
Mhm.
are trying to accomplish. And this is a perfect way to lead into that question, those two questions. So the first part is, what are your core values for your business and personal? And then how do you set that tone of voice so that I'm thinking it's more to lean towards present it so that it's aligning with the people
Mhm.
you're working with. I think that's the perspective we're going, since that's what
Yeah.
we sort of talked about. So I'm going to piggyback on that. So those are the two. That's a part one and two question. So
Cool.
okay,
So I have 5 core values, and I always recommend 3 to 5, no more than 5, because it gets, otherwise you forget what they are, and that's no good.
true.
So my 5 values, and this applies to my entire life, whether it's my business, personal life, or whatever, are connection, growth, joy, integrity, and freedom. And actually, probably freedom is one of the biggest ones. And that, those 5 words encompass everything for me. It's about how I want to be, communicate with people, the love that I want in my life, how my spiritual growth, my personal growth, and everything in between, and the ability to do work that feels good and have freedom to create the life that I want to
Yes.
have, and not, abide by somebody else's template.
Sorry, I
I
was
agree
taking
with
notes.
this one. Exactly. Same
Yeah,
here for freedom.
it's a big thing. It's
Yeah,
a
I
really big.
agree. Freedom, I think, is really important, and a lot of people give it away too easily. Because if we are business owners, I think freedom is in our top 5, because we
Yeah,
don't like to be told what to do, and we
exactly.
don't like to be told how to do our job, how to organize, where to go, who to work with. I think we want that freedom, and I think we need to choose. But also, it could be even for people that don't work for someone else. They should think about the freedom too, to just say yes or no
Right.
according to their own values. So I think
Another
freedom is there anyway.
another perspective is for me when I chose to work for myself is the freedom of flexibility, of being
Yeah,
able to control your own calendar because you're the boss. You
Yeah,
could say when it's time to take a day off. You could say when the sound gremlins decide to attack your podcast. But anyway, the
exactly.
long story short
That's
is
that's it. I
control your
hate
you
it
are
when
controlling.
someone else will
You're in
tell me
control.
about
Yeah.
the holidays. No, you can't
Yeah.
take the holidays. No, you
yeah,
should work this day and not that day. No,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's all
I'm
about
done with
controlling your
it.
calendar and your time and
yeah,
about what it is that you want in your life. And I mean, when you have that control and you have that sense of fulfillment and stuff like that, the sky's the limit with what you could do. I don't know if y'all have found that to be true, but I mean, seriously,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
it's that freedom. I mean, we take it for granted sometimes, I think, but but if you really look at that freedom, oh my gosh, it's priceless, and you need to
Yeah,
protect that freedom. So,
you do.
I don't know. That was a good point that I didn't even think about until we got. See, this is why when we chat, we figure out some things
Yeah,
and we throw things out and see what you never know where the conversation's going to lead, right? Right, Tiny. So
true.
anyway,
Absolutely.
um, every week is a little bit different, but it's always fun. So anyway, oh my gosh, we have so
I would
many.
like to know. I have one more question for you.
Yeah,
How do you apply your core values to your
good
business
one.
in
Yeah.
terms of marketing or working with your clients?
Yeah,
Can you tell us more about it?
yeah. It's a really good question, and it's, some of it has a simple answer, and some of it doesn't. And I think probably the simplest version is it comes back to that intuition again, and that what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And ultimately, we all have an inbuilt sat nav, and we complicate things a lot, we add meaning to things a lot, and we add language and all of that stuff, but ultimately it boils down to, does it feel good or does it feel not good? And if you're
Simple. Yeah.
creating content or making any kind of business decision, doing any business development, and you're looking at it and you're thinking, okay, that I'm not sure that feels great, then just listen to that. If it does feel good, but even if it doesn't seem to, add up logically, but there's something in you that's saying, no, I kind of like this, I'm going to follow this, then just go for it. And the more you do that, the more you'll find it's easier to make decisions, and it's easier to assess whether your marketing messages and all of those things feel authentic, feel like you feel aligned to your values. But
And
it
you bring
really
up
is
a good
about
point.
practicing,
Yeah.
and making decisions in your life that you're constantly checking in, saying, right, is that aligned with my values? Does that feel like me? Is this my voice that I'm using? Am I deeply connecting with this message, or is it something I think I should be saying? Yeah.
Right. And you
Yeah,
bring up
that's
a good
interesting
point.
because, yeah, it's really a good point because it's like we already know the answer.
Of course
Because
we do. We all
if
have the
we
answers.
don't really love something, like something, and we're like, I don't know. Well, I think you know, right?
Yeah, of course you do.
You already
And that
said
comes
it.
out in coaching. So many people will say to me, I don't really know what to do with this. Or, okay, what do you think you might do with it? Or what are your possibilities? What are your options? Or what about if you did know the answer? And they, every single time they come up with the answer. I had a session earlier with somebody who was saying, I'm avoiding doing this thing, and I'm not sure why. So I said, well, what are your thoughts on what the possibilities could be for that why? And they said, well, because if I do that, it will trigger feelings of me of sadness and bitterness and so on. And I don't know whether it is that, if that is the reason. And I said, is that enough of a reason for you to be avoiding it? And she said, well, yeah, it is actually. Yeah. Okay, well then there's your answer. And that it was there all along, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of reframing and coaching to get that out of ourselves. We
No,
have
that's
all the
good.
Yeah,
answers, we absolutely do.
That's good. And it's true. We really need, I keep trying to tell people that you need your authentic, be yourself, be your authentic voice. Because here's what happens. People can spot fake a mile away.
Yeah.
And if you're fake, they're going to see through that. I always hear fake it till you make it. And you could do that up to a certain point.
about skills, that works
Yeah. Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah. But it's
I
our
mean, we have to
confidence.
learn skills. Like
Right.
you're not born knowing everything. So you
Right.
learn, you practice, and you get it
Right.
eventually, right?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But when it comes to your voice,
for
when
the
it comes
rest,
to your real personality, and it comes to all the other pieces that make you unique, and the what it's different than everybody else, you need to be authentic to that, and you need to maintain that. My main core person will always be the same. I
Mm-hmm.
got my fun, extroverted, happy, funny self. This, if y'all really know, I like to make funny like the gremlins. But anyway, that's my story. I'm gonna stick to it, kind of humor. But then I have the little behind the scenes stuff where I'm constantly making sure that all the pieces are fitting in, even trying to figure out things like sound gremlins during the live show, because I'm still learning a new software. This is only the second time we've used Be Live, so we're still figuring out some of the tech issues, guys. So bear with us. By the third or fourth show, we're going to be all pros, right, Pliny? Pliny gave me a crash course on it last a few couple of weeks ago, so I'm still figuring out some techniques, but I'm going to get it figured out eventually. But the long story short of it is, you can learn the skills, like learning this, like myself, like learning how to figure out the audio for this software. But my authentic voice, being funny, but at the same time, also being focused on the task at hand, making sure that we all have a good time. That part is part of who I am. And that's the part that you guys have. You got to figure out what that authentic voice is for you, and
Yeah.
that's really,
yeah,
and you've got to figure out who you are as a person, because people are going to connect with you as a person
Yeah.
more than you could. Like we always, like Pliny said, you can learn a skill. So, but you need to be able to connect as a real human. And
Yeah.
even if you're shy, even if you're nervous, it doesn't matter. People
that's
are gonna.
okay.
It's okay, because
Yeah.
people take that into consideration.
Of
But
There
you
course.
are a
still need
lot
to,
of people
still
that
need to
are
be you.
shy, introvert, and they might
Mhm.
want to connect to a shy and introvert coach,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
No problem.
Yeah.
And
Are
there
they
is
are such
a
things?
way to
I don't know.
say, they say,
I'm actually very
be
introverted.
yourself because
Me too.
anyone else is taken,
Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah,
right?
absolutely that. And you know, we talk a lot about, we use words a lot now, like authentic, integrity. They are words that are very, very overused, actually. So you know, when we say to people, "Oh, be authentic," that's quite a pressure to go. Oh, God, I've got to be authentic. What if I'm not being authentic? You know, or what you know, what I've got to have integrity or whatever it is. And actually, you're right, Marie. It is about saying, well, who am I? And this is
Yep.
why the values piece works really well, because the measure of a person often is in their, not only in their values, but how they demonstrate those values,
Exactly.
and that in your communication will come out. So if you focus on things like that rather than putting pressure on yourself to be authentic, because it's such a big, you know, thing these
Big
days.
word.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a big concept,
Yeah.
and people kind of
And
get hung up on it, like you said. And I think what we're trying to do is break it down and understand what it is and what it isn't, so that people can understand who how they can show up. It's all about how you can show up and just be you. That's why
Yeah.
I have been saying just to be yourself since I was probably in elementary school, and I'm in my 50s now. So yeah, so go figure. I've been saying it probably for 40 plus years. Be yourself. That's,
In
I mean,
I
everything,
think
you
being
know,
everything.
in your
yourself,
business
it's
and your life. You know, it's
yeah,
like, do like don't for me, I don't have a different version of me in work, you know, in my business than I have in my life. I am the same me. I mean, I know we all make adapt, you know, and adapt to who we're with and all of those things and scenarios, but I'm still absolutely who I am in every single situation.
Yep.
So
What you
you know,
see
the
is what you
business
get.
thing. Yeah. And that, I think, it will give you much more authenticity in your business and your messaging, your marketing. If you are that person in everything you do, then it's
if
much
you're
more likely to,
consistent.
yeah,
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 that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And I think being yourself, it means really be you without making any effort. Because you,
yeah.
Emma, were saying, oh, everybody like it, try too hard, the authenticity and everything. I think that if you're trying too hard, you're trying to be someone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because being yourself should be effortless.
Yes.
No
Effortless.
extra
Definitely.
energy used. Be just you, what you are. Are you a mess? Well, that's
And be that
vulnerable,
man.
but that's you.
Yeah,
Use it. Be that mess, like
yeah.
right.
Be a
It's not
lovable
being
mess.
perfect.
Yeah,
Be a
but that's,
lovable
you know,
mess.
that's about honoring the shadows and the faults that you have, and being, you know, yes, committing to trying to, you know, grow and improve, but not beating yourself up about or trying to hide those things that aren't perfect about you. This is, you know, being your full unapologetic self is about just that. It's not about saying, oh, well, I'm too old to change, or this is me, if you don't like me, it's tough luck. um I mean, maybe it's that, but because, you know, we can all find people who do get us and do understand us, but, you know, it's not about deciding not to commit to self-improvement. It's about just accepting and learning to like who you are and just show up like that person.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, I always sit there and say,
Yeah.
you either like me or you don't. There's really no in between. But at the same time, you are right. You do have to kind of learn to accept who you are, and
Yeah.
then flaws and all. And it's okay because we're not perfect. I have people say, you're superwoman because you're doing so much. And you're like, it's because I get bored focusing on one thing. So if I focus on one business, it's going to bore me to tears. So I do podcasts, I do other things. I'm getting ready to launch marketing mindset masters networking group in the next couple of weeks. We just have to make a few tweaks on some things. So any ideas for logos, let me know. But anyway, long story short, we're going to make a few little finesse things and we're going to launch that. And it's all about helping people find their voice, their key voice in their marketing messages. We're helping them to really just create their content there and helping them there. Let's say that you get unstuck. I don't know how many of y'all are guilty of this and this that I'm talking to you guys and also to the audience as well. But how many of y'all get stuck on an idea of what it is you're going to share as your offer, whether it's a lead offer or a core offer. I don't know. If you say you have so many great ideas in your head and you get stuck. And one of the things that when we get stuck, we procrastinate, right? We get sort of like, oh my gosh, I can't do the marketing because I can't even think of what I want to do, right? So I'm not going to share a whole lot of training, though I will do like a marketing tip of the week kind of thing. But we'll get into brainstorming ideas. We'll be doing it in a collaborative way where we're going to have a group of people. I might even call us the mastermind group. We never know. But anyway, we're going to be like a think tank, and we're going to help each other solve each other's like little marketing challenges and help each other create funnels for our marketing. And then at the same time, network and collaborate and build a community of really like-minded solo entrepreneurs. They're service-based. They are either coaches, speakers, or they can be virtual assistants and freelancers. And they are going to, we're all going to have fun. If you're not, I look at it this way. If you're not laughing at least once on a call with me, then y'all need to check your pulse. Because I have this natural way of disarming people because it just comes subtly.
Your pulse.
Because you're yourself and all.
Yeah, there you go.
That
So
was fun.
if you're not laughing at least once during a show, check your pulse. I'm not sure what's wrong with you. But anyway, long story short, just have fun. We're all going to have fun. We always do, as Pliny knows. But I am welcoming, I'm not looking to talk about, I mean, it's really more like entrepreneurs who really have their own business, not associated with another company. Because the ones that are associated with other companies, they have their own formats and styles of how to do things. So I'm focusing more of people who are more independent business owners. In that space.
So we're
and so
inviting
forth.
Emma to join the group,
Yes,
and also
I hope you get to
every
come.
business owner out there. Mary, tell us how to join.
Oh my gosh, if you guys go to the Marketing Mindset Masters Facebook group and ask to join, I'm going to be making it private. Right now it's public just because I want to be able to get the word out there. And I'm going to actually eventually post that link, hopefully at the end of the show, if I can get it on there. Otherwise, I'll show it next week at the latest. But it's a Marketing Mindset Masters Facebook group. Right now it's public, so make sure you get in on the public thing. We are going to be launching it really, really soon. But oh my gosh, we're here to help you guys generate those business connections in a supportive community. It's a chance for you guys
Done.
to
There
create.
you go. Well
That's
done,
really
Emma.
what it is. Yeah. So you guys
Already
need to
done,
learn
Mary.
yeah, y'all need to learn to network. Okay. So
She's
we're here to
in.
help
She's
you.
in. And
Yeah.
talking about Facebook and talking about other ways to connect, Emma, you didn't tell us how to connect with you.
Yeah, we need to know.
I'm very glad you asked. Thank you. So I have a website which is rebelyellclub.com, and people can find me on LinkedIn. If you search Emma Shaw Chief Rebel, I'm there. Or there's my Facebook group, which is Rebels and Rule Breakers, and that is at the and sign, the ampersand. Or they can email me, but probably the easiest way is through the contact form on the website, or if people friend request me on Facebook or connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll absolutely accept that. On Facebook, I think I'm Emma M. Shaw, but there's also my business page, which is Emma Shaw Chief Rebel. So there's many, many ways to find me.
There you go.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I did not have a chance to add yours to the to our little ticker before.
We
But
can add you there.
Yeah, I'm going to try to add you.
And
So
do you
there.
have I know you have something for our audience as well.
I do. I do.
Surprise.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk to you about these surprises in GBP as opposed to dollars, because that's how I operate.
Okay.
But yeah, so my membership, the Rebel Yell membership at the moment is 47 English pounds a month, which is much less than what it's worth, I'm told. But for those of the people who are tuning into this live or on the replay, if they were interested in joining, and all the benefit details are on the website, I am giving you guys a £10 discount per month, every month, for as long as you are a member, with the discount code Marie. So MARIE.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
that's
you.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank
that's great.
you.
I'm trying to get this thing to show up on the title page, but it's just not wanting to behave today. So
So the
anyway,
website is Rebelly. Tell no.
RebelYell.com.
Rebel
Sorry,
Rebel
Rebel Yell
Yell
Club.
Club.com. Sorry about
.com. Yeah.
that.
So like the Billy Idol song, RebelYellClub.com.
boy, we are
That's it.
making a lot of funnies with that particular word. Those two words, like the rebel yell for what is it? The what's that thing?
Roller coaster.
Thank you,
Oh
roller
yeah.
coaster. And then the one for a song. Oh my gosh, what
There
else?
you go.
We should do a show where we could come up with all the funny names for different versions of names. So I don't know. We'll come up with
Well,
something one
my
day.
sign off now is Chief Rebel out, keep rebelling.
Oh my
That's what I
gosh,
do live. That's how I sign off now.
Nice one.
sweet. Okay. Well,
It's
I
a nice
really,
claim.
yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I cannot believe that we are now at the end of the show. And we went a little over, but that's okay. One of the
Just one
beauties
hour
about,
went like that.
It
I
did.
know, I know. You would think that it would take a lot longer, but it doesn't. So anyway, but I am super, super stoked that you are here today, and I hope you get to come back.
Me too.
And I'm hoping you're enjoying our crazy little gremlins today and figuring this. And oh, I've been geeking out about learning new software. I'm telling you since last week, so this couple of weeks ago. So, but it does take a learning curve to figure things out, right? So as you can
Mhm.
see, but it is so much fun and and we really appreciate all the valuable tips that you gave our audience today. Oh my gosh, if you drink through a fire hose, but hopefully you guys can figure out what your values are and help create your authentic voice. And oh my gosh, definitely, definitely make sure you connect with the people that you want to work with. I mean, that's super key. I think
Oh,
that's a
that's so
good tip.
important.
Yeah, it is. So, oh my gosh, don't forget to check out on we're on Liberty Virtual Solutions and we're on that's our Facebook group and you can go there and check out our replay. I will be posting it later on the YouTube channel and they'll be on other platforms like Speaker later on and Spotify will be also there. We will be showcasing that in the next few weeks. We'll be adding more. So please make sure you do check us out. And also, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, just let us know in the chat in the Facebook groups. That'll be great. Or on YouTube, and we'll get you added there with your email. But it has been fantastic. Oh, last thing, don't forget, we do have merchandise. We have
I
backpacks and
do.
mugs and everything. It's on libertyvirtualsolutions.com/shop. Every school backpack that gets purchased for $45, $5 gift card will be sent to a lucky teacher in the U.S. So help, and this will be done throughout the whole school year. So for the 20 what year we are in 2021 to 2022 school year. So if you would like to contribute to one of our teachers, get a backpack, and we will be happy to donate a gift card. It'll be a $5 gift card that they can use to help towards supplies because, oh my gosh, they need that extra thing. So, Pliny, would you like to please go ahead and close us out? Pliny, can you
Oh,
close us out or did she freeze?
she's
Oh my gosh.
frozen.
Okay, I'll close us out then because it seems like we're having gremlins today. Anyway, so join us again for our episode next week for more great tips and ideas and how to's to make your marketing and mindset work for you. Our guests will be providing more tips to help you grow yourself and your business and set it up for success. So, we stream live every Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern, right here on um, Liberty Virtual Solutions, and then we'll be uploading it to other channels as well. So if you like, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you don't miss another show. And until next time, this is Marie Mason with Liney Phoenix and our lovely guest, Emma Shaw. And we will be saying goodbye for now and the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show. And that ends this week's show. So have a great one, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Stick around, Emma. So we're going to